So the best response I have so far is that because I tended to get the attention of more girls when we were kids, that's why a good friend of mine just said, yeah, I just kind of agreed with you being canceled and went along with it because you thought girls paid more attention to me when we were kids. That's the reason you just gave a blanket approval to our friends to cancel me? Like, really? You can't have regrets for the bad things that happen to you. They're just as important as the good things. I've learned way more from my mistakes than I have from my success. I said Hollywood would die the day I pulled out of town.
We're good. You got your seatbelt on? Seatbelts? Seatbelts!
But don't ever miss an opportunity to call someone out for being a dick. I wasn't the one who started this bullshit, but I will do what it takes to end it. So, I ran into a guy at the beach today. He looked like, I could have sworn he was like late 30s. He was 27, from Mexico. I think he said he had a work permit, but I don't know. He said he lived in Detroit until he was 13, and then he's lived here ever since. And it was just him and his dog. It's just me and my dog. Shocking revelation, right? Get more and more of that these days. But it was really interesting talking to him. He is really, like, I think all of this cancellation of probably conservative men and some who weren't, I think it was weaponized. It was used for divorce. It was used for my greatest friends, my greatest group of friends that I've spent the last 30 years of my life with. They removed a brother from the family. Just, he's always been in a rough place. He's always had a problem with drugs and alcohol and making poor decisions. And his parents have always taken him in and loved him and tried to hold him accountable as much as they could. But he took advantage of that. And now that his parents are gone, he has no more family. He just was cut out. Now that to me just seems foreign. But that's not me. You see, I'm the guy who tries to save the alcoholic, who tries to make one last ditch effort. Now I won't go try to save an alcoholic if they can't do anything to get out of their own way. That's what my mom was like. I tried to get my mom away from her husband multiple times, but she wouldn't do it. There was nothing I could do while she was still in her angry I'm in charge phase. Because when she was angry, in charge, and drinking, you didn't want to be anywhere near her. I mean, I would attempt to have conversations and talk her off the ledge, but you just couldn't. It was ingrained in her that she was going to win and she was going to carpet bomb everything. That was her way of dealing with it. But when she got to her vulnerable adult stage, which was in 2014-ish, that's where it crossed over. That's where she got to a point where she could no longer really take care of herself. And I told her husband, no more alcohol. Adult Protective Services says, no more alcohol. I was prepared to take her to my house, move her in my basement. My wife was firmly against it, but I didn't care. I was going to move my mom, get her away from that dude, and maybe have a few more years that she could spend with my grandkids in a place where maybe she could see a little happiness. But no, I wasn't allowed to do that because I was in the middle of my own political cancellation or divorce cancellation, however you want to look at it. The elimination of conservative, most likely Trump supporting, I don't know, maybe everybody, I don't know, but definitely all the ones that were in a difficult financial spot. That's the thing I can really kind of peg this on is anybody that was hurting financially got no help, got no support, got nothing. And not only did they get nothing, they got turned backs, knives in the back, and that's horrible. I was never a party guy. I never was a Republican or a Democrat. I was always alien. I've always felt alienated from every group. That's just how I felt. But I can remember it vividly. I remember in high school. Yeah, I don't really feel like a Republican. You know, I'm pretty progressive compared to my Christian family who are pretty much just your typical covert narcissists who want to do nothing as far as growth and reflection and fixing family drama. So I never felt a part of them. I always felt way more a part of, you know, my liberal friends here in Tacoma, the most liberal state in the Union. Definitely most liberal city in the Union. You know, I was running a cannabis industry business when mine started. It doesn't get much more liberal than that, does it? Like, come on. Can anybody do math? Or was it just all jealousy? It was all jealousy, wasn't it? Yeah, I kind of figured it was. Like my buddy who said, you know, you had more attention from girls when we were kids. So that's how I validated it. I mean, that's how he justified just watching people turn their backs and ostracize me and me lose my business and almost lose my kids. I mean, my ex tried to take the kids from me on a full-time basis. I mean, there was no way she was going to be able to do that. I was a plugged-in father. I can't wait for somebody to try to make an accusation of me not being a plugged-in father. Trump's going after his political opponents right now. Okay, should he be going after his political opponents? That's the million-dollar question. The ones who tried to cancel him on a national, largest scale in the world, should he go after them? I mean, it looks like it includes Barack Obama, a whole bunch of people. I don't think he should. In fact, I took some heat on Twitter today because I said he should make a deal with Comey and just, how do we tone this down? How do we apologize to all the men who've been ostracized and treated like shit so somebody else could feel better about themselves, or maybe it would look like to the rest of the citizens that, boy, I better vote for a Democrat. Like, really? Come on. I really don't want to lose like more people that I think is like mentors and people that I had a ton of respect for. You know, my friend Bob at the country club. I've been playing golf with him for 20 years. We've never been that tight, but he knows me. I know him. His wife told him, I am a bad person. That guy is a bad person. And we need to make him look that way. So you must treat him that way. And it's kind of interesting because what's really kind of interesting is there are a good number of people who don't ignore me, who will take my call or return a message. But there's an awkwardness. There's just an uncomfortable, unspoken kind of fear in their voice. And that's what I'm more like intrigued about. That's what I'm interested in. I'm that guy who really wants to know why. why something is the way it is. That kind of a funny story about that. I used to have to entertain stockbrokers, financial advisors as my career, steak dinners out on the town, that kind of stuff. Well, every once in a while you'd get the ones that want to go to the strip clubs. I would take them. I would never get dances. That's just not well, no, I take that back. I would get dances, but I wouldn't get the dance. I would pay the girls to sit on the couch with me and just shoot the shit. Where are you from? What are you doing? What are you studying? How did you become a stripper? What was your relationship like with your dad? Those are the questions I would ask. And man, you got some interesting stories. The ones from Ukraine, whew, those are some scary stories. But yeah, this is going to be fun. And it's going to be, I think, it's going to be incredibly educational. Don't you think? I think it is. I'm going to keep these a little shorter though. This is a general podcast. We're going to cover anything that I feel is important to cover. But the first thing we got to cover is we got to get through these, what happened with these cancellations and how are we going to move through it? Are a lot of you going to start apologizing just to the people that maybe you were told that you needed to eliminate from your life? If there was a reason to eliminate them from your life, if they were a toxic alcoholic or they were a horrible person, okay, maybe I understand. Turn your back, don't talk to a person because of that. But if you're just supposed to do it because somebody said that somebody said something happened, are you really an honorable person if that's how you treat people? I mean, I personally am blown away by how much, by really just how horrible a lot of people are. But I didn't quite grasp and understand the severity of the complex trauma that existed in this town. I mean, whoa, there is so much. And we all have it, folks. We all have it. I got lucky because my dad didn't exist. I mean, he did, but he was just gone doing his thing. And my mom never left the house. So I didn't have a lot of complex trauma because my parents were kind of checked out. I just had to raise myself. I spent a lot of time by myself. Maybe we should have Complex Trauma Week where we talk about all of our past traumas, the things that give us anxiety, keep us from going into social situations or having conversations with people that freak us out. You guys know who you are. I can help. And if you're having a problem with your marriage, I promise you this. You guys having a conflict, you want to fix it? Don't go see a therapist. Just call me. I can fix it in like 30 minutes. And if I can't, it probably can't be fixed, and you guys should probably figure out how to just move on. But if you have kids, you should really stick it out till they're gone and then go. Because your kids are more important than you. And that, unfortunately, was not the way people in my family chose. Have a great night. See you guys tomorrow.